Yeah.
Hello there. I'm back again in your lives with a story on storytelling. And why did I choose this? I chose it very deliberately so that I want you children to appreciate what storytelling is all about and how stories came into this world. And we should, and there are various versions, many versions. Some Indian, some folk tales from other regions of the world. And today I'm going to share with you a story that I heard from a native Indian who I met in Rishikesh. And he said, long, long ago, there were no stories in the world. One day, a little boy was passing through a mountain, and he was carrying some heavy fruit with him, and so he got tired and he decided to take a break and sit near a big grandfather rock. And as he sat there trying to get his breath back, he heard a deep rumbling sound. And it sounded like, "Do you want to hear a story?" The boy got startled and he said, "What's that?" And the grandfather rock again repeated himself, "Do you want to hear a story?" So the little boy asked in deep wonderment, "What is a story?" The grandfather rock said to him, "But first you must offer me something." The boy immediately took an apple and placed it on Grandfather Rock and said, "Now, Grandfather Rock, please tell me a story. I want to listen to a story." And so the Grandfather Rock began to tell his tale about how the earth had evolved, how the birds had come to life, the plants, the trees, the twinkling stars, the sun. And the boy sat in rapt amazement. It became dark and the boy sat listening to the grandfather rock. He didn't feel the cold air. He didn't mind the darkness. He was so enraptured. The grandfather rock said, "My son, you can come to me tomorrow." The boy took his bag of fruits and ran to his village and called out to everyone, "Hey, come around. I have something special to tell you." Everyone from the village gathered around the fire and they sat listening to the boy's tale. That night, no one was scared of the animals in the forest or the howling winds or the cold air. And after listening to the story, they all went back to their homes, to their huts, and slept peacefully. The next day, the boy went with another fruit, and the grandfather rock told him another story. And that day too, the boy listened most intensely, and the grandfather rock finished his tale. The boy placed another fruit, went back to his village. Again, everybody gathered around the fire and sat listening in wonderment, in surprise, in amazement to the boy's tale, and they again slept peacefully that night. Day after day, the boy would go to the grandfather rock. The grandfather rock would tell him tales about fairies, kings, fables, myths, and about great heroes and warriors and just about everything. And the boy would come back to his village and would tell his people the stories. But one day, he went back to the grandfather rock and sat there and said, "Grandfather Rock, I'm back here. Won't you tell me a story?" And there was silence. "Grandfather Rock, will you please tell me a story? I'm back again." The rock didn't speak. The boy got a little worried and he said, "Please, Grandfather Rock, please tell me a story." The great stone spoke for the last time and he said, "I have given you all my stories. Please pass these stories to the children so that stories can be added to them as the years go by and they can cross the mountains, the rivers, the oceans. They can travel far and wide, take any shape, any size. They are yours. Take them. You have taken them from me, my child. They are yours." He thanked Grandfather Rock. And since then, those stories have traveled miles and miles and miles. And today, I'm here to tell you this story of how stories began in this world. Namaste.